Hey guys, what's going on? Today we got this '03 Yamaha Big Bear 400 was dropped off. This one it was dropped off running. Every now and then they do get dropped off running. um, it had no electric start because the battery's dead, but it pull started and it was leaking gas out of the carburetor. It wasn't a fast leak, just a drip every now and then. Out of the overflow hose. So we're going to take that apart, probably put new seals in it, put a rebuild kit in it, and then he just wants it serviced and gone over. The winch stopped working. We're not going to do anything with the winch, so he said he'd take care of that. But yeah, we're going to check all the fluids, change the oil, check brakes, grease it if it has any fittings. Yamaha likes to put some fittings on these sometimes. And the air filter, yeah, we know he knows he has issues with the air filters. We're gonna throw a new air filter in it too. He said he already dug most of them nest out, but it's been sitting for, I don't know, a year or so. Mice got in there and made a nest. He dug most of her out. So we'll finish cleaning that out, throw a new filter in it. And you just give it a good going over. Make sure it's ready to go. Here for riding season. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to pull this carburetor off. We know it runs, but like I said, it does leak. And we're going to get that taken care of first off. Alright, let's try this again. I already started working on it once, but I forgot to turn my music off. Can't have any music playing. Don't want any copyright issues. So, I think there's enough room. I don't need to take the tank off this. I might be able to sneak the carburetor out on this side. The exhaust is in the way on the other side. But I should have enough room to sneak it out over here. We'll see though. Get all these hoses loose. Take the choke cable off. Might sound a little different today. I woke up. My sinuses are all clogged up and need to start taking an allergy pill. Spring started, so every spring that's what you get. Sinuses try to murder you. Yeah, well, we should have plenty of room to get it out over here. So I had to go over on the other side and get the throttle cable on the other side. Got some limited space here, but let's see if I can work with you guys. Get this cover plate off. Then we'll work at taking the cable out. There's the O-ring that seals it. And this might be the tricky part. It's getting that cable up and around there with the camera sitting there. I'll try to get it though. We'll see how it goes. See if I can stab myself with the pick. Oh, there, it's almost out. There we go. Got the little cable holder out and the cable out. So now I just need to thread get an 8mm, it looks like, and spin that nut off right there. That holds the cable in. There we are. Okay, cable's out. And we're done on this side. We can go back here to the other side to pull it out. Alright, we got these two wires here on the bottom. We need to pop them out here quick first. There's one. And the other. There's two wires there. Okay, now nothing else is holding us in place. Let's pull this intake hose off. And we should be able to pull the carburetor out. And see if we can slip her out of here. Oh yeah, we got room. We got plenty of room. Oh, there's a breather hose on top of the carburetor. We need to break that loose to pull him off. There we are. There it is. Let's get it up on the table and see what it looks like inside. What do you think we got in here? My guess is it's not too dirty. Just a little dirty. I don't know, we'll see. He did drop me off a 660 Grizzly. I didn't get a video of that one, guys. I got that one fixed pretty quick. Didn't have time to get a video on it. This one I went ahead and ordered some carburetor parts and some other things for it, so I got time to make a video on this guy. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What's holding you in place, sir? A little sensor? Yeah, a little arm for the sensor. Stuck there. Let me get a wrench to take it, loosen that little guy up. There we are. Just keeping this bowl from coming off. It's not too terrible in there. Little dirt. That'll clean right out of there nice. The gasket's dead flat. So I have a new gasket and seal kit coming for it. It'll get a new needle, new fuel needle, new needle seat. That's why it would have been leaking out the overflow, because the needle and seat are no longer doing their job. They're not sealing. Sometimes you can just get in there and clean them out, but this carburetor's almost 20 years old. It's 19 years old, so we're just going to replace it. There's a little bit of a line going around that needle. And then also, there's an O-ring for the seat. There's O-rings go bad, and they cause the carburetor to overflow also. So it's best just to get in there, and the carburetor this age, just get in there and replace it. I don't want to have a carburetor that I fix and just clean out and doesn't leak here. The guy gets it home 2 days later, it starts dripping again. I don't want that. So just do it right the first time and be done with it. You see there's an O-ring around this guy, and they get flat like this one is. No leak past that O-ring. It causes a bolt to overfill, and that's what we could have happened. It could have been either leaking at that O-ring there, or the needle sealing in that seat might not have been doing a good job. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish taking out all these jets, take off the slide, and I'll give it a good cleaning, external and internal. and I'll bring you back when I have that done. You guys might have seen this little Trail Tech Vapor sitting over here. It's going on another project. It's going to be after this one. Pretty cool little, what year is it? 77 GS 550. It's kind of scramblerish type of bike. Scrambler, cafe, whichever way you want to go about it. But it's here, yeah, for a speedometer, because the OE speedometer was deleted. Nothing up there. Yeah, I mean, it was a big, ugly looking thing. You know how things were back in the 70s. Everything was massive. So I did a bunch of carburetor work on this last year. What else did I do to it? Ignition. There was no ignition on it. Points and condenser wise, that was all in a box. I did all that last year. And yeah, he rode it around for a while. No speedometer. Rode it around for a while, so I figured we're going to go ahead and throw a speedometer on it now. And alright, let's get this carburetor cleaned up, and I'll bring you right back. Alright guys, let's get this carburetor back together. See, it's all nice and clean now. Came out real nice. Almost like new. So let's just see if we can get it reassembled now. Need our springy. Can't forget him. There we are. Got the garage door open today. It's going to be a little nicer than it was yesterday. Yesterday, I don't even think it got to 50 degrees. Today it's supposed to be, I think, 60 couple. Anyway, here's the new parts and the old parts that we got. There's the seals we're replacing. Fuel seat, needle. I don't like to replace the OEM jets unless they're completely trashed and tore up and corroded away. These ones just had a little bit of tarnish on them, and that stuff I can clean off very easily with a cleaner. So, because a lot of times you get carburetor kits and the jets might not be the correct size. So you use the OEM ones, you won't have to worry about it. Uh-oh, where'd my wrench go? It's MIA. And these jets, they cleaned up perfect. So we're just going to reuse them. What is that? 112 and a half and a 70. Of course, the larger ones are main. We got a 12 and a half pilot. Nothing better than the OEM jets. And this is our fuel screw. He had a little bit of tarnish on the tip of him, so just clean him up. It was about, I think it was 2 3/4 turns out, somewhere around there. So I'll set it back to what that was, and I'll adjust it from there as the machine gets warmed up to get a good idle out of it. So it's 2 3/4 from lightly seated. So right there we're lightly seated, so we're going to count out now. 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2. Oop, I messed that up. Let's try that again. 1/2, 1, 1/2, 2, 1/2, and 3/4. Had brain fart there for a minute. Let's get our seat in. New seal on that guy. Get in there, buddy. That'll keep that seat from falling out. Now I can put our float in and our fuel needle and check, make sure the float height didn't change from using different parts. Yep, float height's the same as it was when I took it apart, so we're going to leave that be. This one is adjustable. A lot of times they're not even adjustable anymore. And so what we have left, just the bowl and the bowl screws, and then that little sensor there. That everything goes on the side. Let's see if this gasket will stay in place or if I need to put a little persuasive grease on it to hold it in place. Sometimes I just put a little bit of grease down in the valley where the gasket sits, because they'll come in the pack all deformed, and a lot of times they don't like to stay down in here. So you can use some gasket tack, or a lot of times what I use, like I said, is just some grease. Let's see if it can stay in place so I can lower it on there. There it is, I believe we got her. Now for our screws. The longer screw goes for the idle adjuster. Which will wrap around to this side. Tighten these screws evenly. Now we just have this little sensor left. It goes right in here. Okay. There it is. Our carburetor is built. Let's get it thrown back in the machine. Is there enough room for both of us in here? We'll see. Woke up, my sinus is feeling better today. It's not completely gone, as you can probably tell in my voice. I am feeling a bit better. Would have more room if the tank was off, but there's just enough room to squeeze this guy in and out without doing that. If you guys are doing this, be careful with these chokes on these things. They're just plastic. The barrel screw that's attached to. If you turn it too hard or too much, you're gonna snap it and be angry. Ask me how I know. Made that mistake once or twice, years and years and years ago. And you gotta wait for the mailman to bring you a new part. Which isn't a huge deal, but it sets you back a couple days. Yeah, when they're a little clampy. There we are. The original fuel line, it seemed to be in pretty good shape, so we're just reusing him. It is 19 years old, but it didn't have any cracking or anything in it. So I'm not going to worry with replacing it. And before we tighten these clamps, in case we need to pivot it, let's go to the other side and put the cable in. Yeah, because we'll probably want to pivot it down a little bit. That way we can get the cable in. Let's get our cable fed back down here. Sorry if my hands are going to be in the way. There's really no other way around it. But yeah, just sticking this cable back on down here. Get it threaded in. There is an adjustment there to take cable slack out, but it was wound the whole way down. So that's where I'm gonna put it. If there's too much slack, I'll just adjust it from there. I need to grab the tip of our cable. Pull them out there. Sometimes these little bushings for the cable, they can be fun to put on. If you're doing it, just take your time with it, you'll get it. Oh, I pushed the cable back in. Alright. Got it started there. Let's see if we can spin this around. The carburetors with light springs, they're obviously easier to do. Sorry, I couldn't quite get the cable on with the camera where it is, so I had to move it out of the way. I needed the room to get in there to get it on right. So now I just need to put this cover plate on. For the guys that think they're Phillips screws that go around all these machines, they're not. They might look like it, but they're not. They're JIS. You need a special screwdriver, because Phillips screws, if you use a Phillips screwdriver with them, a lot of times you can get them to work. They're a big deal. But a Phillips screwdriver likes to walk up out of the screw. So where a JIS screwdriver, it will not walk up out when you go to torque on something real tight. Alright, let's get to the other side. Make sure we line the carburetor straight. Turn the fuel on, tighten the carburetor up. Alright, got the carburetor line. We're going to go ahead and flip it on reserve. We'll let the carburetor fill up. Make sure we don't get any leaks out down here at the bottom with the overflow while we're tightening it up. Oh no, it's leaking. Just kidding. And we need the Allen wrench. Where'd that go? Did you guys take that from me? The machine sitting on it? Yep, back wheel was sitting on it. You guys probably did that. These usually have a spacer you just spin in until they hit. That's tight there. You'll feel when they get tight. Alright. No leaks. That's great. We'll go ahead and slip our drain and our overflow hose back on, since we know it's not leaking. And we do not have a new battery for it yet. So, and I got a bad shoulder. Let's see if we can pull start it. Okay, let's see if we can get her start. Got her choke on, got key on, kill switch is on. I got a hard time pull starting about anything over a weed eater because of my shoulder, but let's see if we'll get it. First try, not bad. Joke's off. Not quite warmed up yet. Yeah, that started really easy. I'll wait for the battery to come in, because a lot of times you go adjusting the carburetor on a dead battery, the electrical load in there and everything is really strained because it's trying to charge a dead battery. So I'm not going to tune it or anything yet. I'm going to wait till I get a new battery, and then I'm going to tune it, ride around, and then we're going to drop oils and go over and maintenance the machine. So we're going to put the rest of it on hold for now until I get some new parts to come in.